would you, as Attorney General, be comfortable defending a law that once again outlawed sodomy, that questioned Lawrence again, or Griswold, or gay marriage, that came from the state legislature to put to the test what Justice Thomas said?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of issues here, but certainly the Supreme Court has stepped into issues that I don't think there was any constitutional provision dealing with. They were legislative issues, and this is one of those issues, and there may be more.
The weirdo and pervert that you just heard from is Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of the state of Texas, where lawmakers are much less concerned about ensuring that their constituents don't die from their failed privatized power grid during a winter storm, but are concerned about whether or not you're engaging in butt love, derriere delights in your bedroom, and they would fight aggressively to prevent that from happening. Not really sure how they would basically enforce it. Maybe they're gonna ask for surveillance cameras in your bedroom. But this is not shocking to me, considering the fact that Clarence Thomas made clear in his concurring decision or opinion that would reverse Roe v. Wade, stating that maybe we should consider rolling back previous court rulings that indicated that sodomy laws were unconstitutional. So asked specifically about Lawrence v. Texas, a 2003 Supreme Court ruling that overturned a state anti-sodomy law and made all such laws invalid nationwide, Paxton said, quote, "My job is to defend state law and I'll continue to do that. That is my job under the Constitution and I'm certainly willing and able to do that." I'm sure you are, Ken, I'm sure you are. Sitting around thinking about whether or not couples are having butt love behind closed doors. That is what these politicians are focusing on. That is what they do.
So guys, a lot of times Republicans suggest absolutely outrageous things. And in order to normalize it, people in Washington go, but they're not really gonna do that. No, wait a minute, in 2003, the Lawrence case overturned a law that existed in Texas. It's not like they weren't gonna do it, they had done it. They were doing it, all the way to 2003. And now Paxton says, oh no, I'm gonna bring it back. As long as the Supreme Court lets me, we're going to prevent what kind of sex you can have inside your own home.
Yeah.
No, but remember, this is the party that claims they're for freedom. They're an absolute joke. Now here comes an important twist for folks who don't know. Sodomy means anal or oral sex.
That's right.
And it doesn't say anything about gay or straight. It's just the word is sodomy. It could apply to either. So they would, until 2003, receiving or giving oral sex in Texas was illegal. You could be put in jail for that, okay? And now they're saying, oh, we're gonna bring that back. You do oral sex or you receive oral sex, we're gonna put you in prison because we're the party that believes in freedom.
I am not a proponent of the nanny state. And I'm not a proponent of the pervert state. I think it's incredibly disgusting that you have elected lawmakers, you have the Attorney General in Texas, again, sitting around, spending their time thinking about the sexual activity of others, when in reality, it is none of their business, 0% of their business. In fact, the only real goal or role for the government is to protect its constituents, to protect its people. And when it comes to protecting its people from things like death, Texas has failed pretty miserably. In fact, one of the more recent cases involved their privatized power grid failing during a severe winter storm. And during that winter storm, as a result of their privatized power grid failing, 256 people died in Texas. Did they do anything to fix the problem afterwards? No, nothing, zero. They're sitting around thinking about whether or not you're having butt sex, or whether or not your wife gave you a little oral love. That's it, that's all they're thinking about. They're perverts and they're creeps. Let me give you more. So let's go to graphic 5 here. I wanna give you more details about what happened with the failed power grid. Abbott claimed that necessary actions had been taken to shore up the grid, but when temperatures fell below freezing in January, gas supply dropped by nearly 20% in the Permian Basin, a key region for the state's oil production. Later, with an even colder weather forecast, residents began to panic. It was clear that winterization efforts are far from complete, meaning they didn't do anything to respond effectively to to the failed power grid that ended up killing 256 people in the state of Texas. There are other issues in the state of Texas, including the fact that Texas ranked 49th out of 50 states for overall children's health. I don't know, maybe spare a minute or two to think about that instead of whether or not people are having anal sex in their personal lives. Texas ranked 46 out of 50 states for child well-being. Texas ranked 43rd in educational attainment. Wallet Hub also ranks Texas at 51st out of all states and DC on its list of best and worst states for children's health care. But I mean, Ken Paxton can't be bothered with those issues. You know what I mean? He can't be bothered by that. The Republican lawmakers in that state are too worried about whether or not you're enjoying life a little too much, whether or not you're being pleasured a little too much in the bedroom, whether or not you're married to someone you love, but not the right person for you based on what their state government thinks. They're disgusting. They're disgusting people who focus on things they shouldn't be focusing on.
So look, all of you, even if you're a right winger, you get that this is the most anti-freedom thing you could do, right?
Do they though? Do they get it?
No, I guarantee you, the young Republicans right now go, oh, they're not gonna really do that, man. They're not really
they'll do it, trust me.
And then the older Republicans are like, yes, I can't wait to do that, right? Because they're Christian zealots and they're like, oh no, my God says you have to do this and you can't do that, and I can't wait to bust into your house. Now, you might be thinking, but come on, really bust into people's houses? You guys keep calling them perverts. What's your argument for that? Lawrence v. Texas, that case was about Texas cops that busted into someone's house and caught them in the middle of sex. Caught them in the middle of sex.
How dare they?
No, you would have to assign people to be on the pervert squad, meaning they're gonna be peeping Toms that are looking for anybody. Are they having oral sex? Are they having anal sex? What kind of sex are they having? Let's spy in on them. They're breaking it. Got you. And then of course the cops take their pants down and they beat off, and then they're like, oh yeah, afterwards we're gonna arrest you because we don't like what you're doing. We covered a story a while back. Republicans were trying to outlaw some sort of porn, and they're like, yeah, but now we have to watch it in order to outlaw it.
Do you?
And all the Republicans are like, I'll do it. I'll do the wrong kind of porn. I'll watch it. I'll be on the list. They're all perverts. Ken Paxton's a peeping Ken. He can't wait to make sodomy illegal so he can watch everybody do it and then arrest them for it after he got off.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the Republican Party, they love to watch us take it, right? I mean, they're proponents of screwing people over and over again when it comes to all of the pro-corporate economic policies that they bolster in this country over and over again. They have no problem watching their own constituents suffer, freeze to death, struggle with poverty, live on the streets. They don't care about any of that. Again, they'd rather spend their time policing what we do in our private and personal lives, which has absolutely no impact on society. It just makes people happy. It leads to pleasure in people's personal lives. They can't have that.
Although I do have a question. If they do make sodomy illegal again in Texas, will they have to arrest Donald Trump and Ted Cruz for what Trump did to Cruz in 2016? Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.